morning. Welcome to Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Shane Matthews, John Cornell from the I said we're from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios.
Yeah, we're here. We're alive. I feel like this last week, it feels like it's been a month. Things have slowed down considerably. QB, yesterday I went to the old CPA's office to drop off all of my stuff. And when I take my taxes, QB, they send you this organizer, right? Mm-hmm. And it's about 30 pages of stuff that they want you to fill out. But here's how I do my taxes. I take everything I have that I get in the mail and all the things that I've saved, and I stack them up like this. And then I put a rubber band around it. I stick it in the seat. Door. I drive it over to my very expensive CPA. God bless him. I love the guy. He works with you too. And I stick it on his receptionist desks, and I say, good luck. Because that's what I'm paying for, is for him to organize the dang thing. Now, of course, it would be smart if I organized it, because then he wouldn't have to, and maybe, he could be more efficient and do things quicker. But I'm not in any hurry. We've gotten an extension, QB. You can file your taxes as usual on April 15th, but you don't have to pay until July the 15th. And interest and penalties on extensions have been pushed off. So perhaps as we work our lives through this Chinese coronavirus issue, things will get pushed back and our lives will be made easier. Certainly in the sports world, spring sports are not happening right now. And QB, you know as well as I do that spring sports, many of which are non-revenue producing sports, are not being held. So therefore, athletic departments, and the question I have for you is, do you think athletic departments are being hurt or being helped fiscally with the elimination, basically, of the spring sports? It's been announced that the NCAA is going to allow these spring sports athletes an extra year. That's going to be difficult
if they choose,
and that's going to be tough for the coaches. But the winter sports athletes are not going to get that, because basically I think that's fair. They played their season. Yes, they're missing out on what we would be watching today, and that is for many teams, not all, but for many teams, the NCAA tournament, and of course all the conference tournaments were canceled. So the question to you is, do you think this is an area where athletic departments who are strapped, or which are strapped, can actually get back on top of things with some aid, but also with the idea that they don't have to pay for their spring sports?
I don't know any facts, but I would guess that most athletic departments are not losing money, because no spring sports bring in any money, and you have to pay for a lot of travel.
Yeah.
And food and expenses.
And medical care and so forth. So I certainly think, some folks might be at an advantage over others. I know there are so many schools that depend on their spring sports. Some of the smaller schools, lacrosse is a big deal, and not basketball, but there are other sports out there that really do actually probably support themselves. Maybe not, but the point is that we're in such a strange time, QB. If I had told you 30 days ago, we would not be having March Madness. We would not be having the Masters. We would not be having TPC. We would have Tom Brady about to sign with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We would have the New England Patriots with no quarterback of any origin. We would have Phillip Rivers at Indianapolis. We would not have the baseball season. We would not have Major League spring training. We would not have the orange and blue game. What would you have thought could have been the reason for that?
Oh, gosh. We'd be at war or something.
Right. So, that's exactly right. It would have been something like a war or something exploding in front of our faces. And here we are basically with that, figuratively and also quite literally, with people shuddering because of this thing that we just don't know enough about right now, and that's that Chinese coronavirus. And so I think that as we go ahead and shutter everything, and I don't know if you saw this, QB, but California last night basically said everybody, and I'm talking about the second largest state in the country, basically, or maybe the biggest economy in the country, or one of them, saying everybody stays home now. They are shuttering the
You can't even go outside.
You can't go anywhere. You
Can't go
just
on a walk?
stay home. It's kind of like
I think it's good to get outside.
well,
for a
no,
walk.
I mean, but I'm talking about in terms of except all non-essential jobs basically just stay home, and the essentials, the police, the hospital, the ambulance drivers, and so forth, EMT people, and I it's amazing. The governor said essentially, we're going shelter all day long now until further notice. The entire state, man, that's bigger than Florida. So I really hope that's not going to be the case for the rest of the country. However, what I also hope is that we can get this thing sorted out, worked out, figured out, and beaten as soon as possible. And it might be that we go to that situation. I don't know if that's coming or not, but I'll tell you this. As I was mentioning earlier, 5 minutes ago, before I started talking, or when I started talking, I drove from Main Street down University Avenue just to see it, all the way to my office on the corner of 8th Avenue and Newberry Road, and it was Ghost Town, USA, my man. There was nobody there. That would typically be a 20-minute, whatever it is, drive with all the traffic lights and the traffic, and certainly the people walking across the street.
School's not in session.
Nobody's here, but nobody is. I mean, nobody's in session except us. We're in session for at least an hour.
That's right.
So it's amazing to me. I mean, this is like deader than it is summer sea.
Well, yeah, because like I said, it
Nobody's
is.
here. So I don't know. That's been an experience and some observations. Do you have any observations from your self-quarantine?
No, I mean, honestly, I guess my life is pretty much a self-quarantine. I don't do a whole lot. I went to the grocery store yesterday because I needed a few things, my normal things.
Did it look like South America in there?
It was pretty
empty shelves.
Some places were empty, but you
got your peanut butter and jelly.
Well,
did you get your loaf of bread?
I always have that.
Oh, well, I mean, they only let you take two.
Got plenty of turkey. Got plenty of other things.
Was there any paper towels or toilet paper?
I didn't even look on that aisle. I don't.
You don't use toilet paper?
No, not at all. No, JC, I don't. I didn't even think to go down that aisle. I only went down like 3 aisles. I got some meat. I got plenty of meat in the freezer.
You got some meat. You got to cook up some meat on the grill.
Yep.
Put some meat on the grill, QB.
At 8:30, we're going to have Patric Young, former Gator basketball player, is going to join us, talk about what he's doing these days. It's what did you play tennis yesterday, JC?
I played a match last night.
Were you not concerned about as many times you had to grab the ball as your opponent?
I didn't think about the ball, and
that's why you can't play basketball.
Well, the opponents that I met, that and the fact that
I don't think that's a big deal. I don't think that's a big deal.
Sweating around each other and all that kind of.
No, it's more the ball.
It's not a big deal. You're spitting on each other. You're blowing on each other. Well, maybe you're right about that, but I didn't think about the tennis ball. I do know the three guys I played with, for the most part.
You think they're healthy?
Well, I know where they work, and I know one of them stays home, basically. Now, of course, he's got kids that go out, and then the other one works kind of isolated. So I wasn't really thinking that way, and maybe that's the problem. I'm not thinking that way in terms of being outside. I am thinking that way in terms of congregating and being indoors. And look, I want just what everyone else wants. I want this to go to be confronted and to end as soon as possible.
But it was only 4 of y'all. So
but you're right about the tennis ball. I mean, all 4 of us touched the tennis balls.
Well, that's why you got to play golf. Nobody touches your balls in golf, JC.
No, they don't. And but we were, we practice proper social distancing, as they say now in this world. And I don't know. We have some Facebook Live comments brought to you by Pound Hurt, your personal injury attorneys. Diane says, I don't know, but I've been told Italy has 13 people dying every minute. Bodies are being taken out of the city by military trucks. That is actually, I'm not sure of that number, Diane, but I do see those trucks hauling people out or dead bodies out. Italy also had a lot of people from China come into that country. Textile mills were sold, and the Chinese came in there, and I don't know why Italy is so ravaged right now, other than some of the things we've already talked about, the older population, the fact that there's a large smoking population in that country. Respiratory disease is the primary symptom of this virus, and Italy is ground zero right now in terms of mortality and fatalities. Sean Payton, this is Rick, the Saints head football coach tests positive. I read where there was a 53-year-old person, basically my age, who had a heart condition. This was Megyn Kelly, the former Fox News anchor, had a friend who had a heart condition. He was 53 or is 53 years old. He tested positive. He had a 100.9 degree fever for 2 days, and he's perfectly fine right now. So it's the mortality is dreadful for those who are at the highest level of danger, but for many others who may be carriers, for all I know, that's us. I don't know that. I haven't been tested. QB hasn't been tested. But for many of us, we could be carriers and not know it. And that's the whole problem. And that's the biggest reason why we're all shut down, is because of the unknown and the uncertainty. And that's why the market.
Well, here's what I don't understand. I'm not smart enough to figure this out, JC. So let's say we get it under control and the curve is flattened or what have you.
Yeah.
Who's to say in a month from now you don't become a carrier?
Well, I mean, it just comes down to exposure, and I don't know anybody that can say that. But I can say that what I worry about, QB, is okay. So we're dealing with this particular virus. They will have a vaccine at some point. There will be treatment for it that is further advanced than where we are today, and there will be viruses. You know, when you get a virus, QB, this, I don't know if you knew this, but I know this for a fact. You can get a cold, that's a virus. Typically, you don't get that same strain, or you don't, because your body builds up immunity to that. And that's what is so odd about this one, is that we don't know what the immunities are for this or what they could be. But I do know that viruses, you get them, you then have an immunity to that particular one. That's why the flu shot is different every year.
We got a text on the Titan MRI text line, and I want to apologize because we had a ton of texts from yesterday, but we had some technical difficulties with our text line.
Well, we also had Alex Marvez for 30 minutes.
Right, but people still send texts, and they had some questions for Alex that we didn't get answered.
To him.
So anyway, Daryl says, guys, do you think it's okay to go fishing tomorrow? I say yes, Daryl.
Absolutely. Yeah. Unless fish are carrying
I'm going to play golf today.
I probably will too, and I'll probably play tomorrow, and I'll play, until I
get in your own cart,
yeah,
and go play. You're not even close to people and playing golf.
And I am fanatical with the hand sanitizer. I actually bought 3 or 4 bottles of the Publix hand sanitizer before this really became a scourge that it's become, because I just heard about this virus that was out there. I didn't know it was going to get to this point, but I went and bought 5 of them. I still have 2 left, and I feel fortunate about that. Well, I was hoarding them before people were hoarding them, and they were 99 cents at the time. I'm sure they're over $2 now, but nobody has them. And so I'm just thinking, and I'm fanatical about this. I mean, yesterday we had Jackie, or the other day, it was yesterday, we had Jackie Spreads in here, and as soon as he leaves, oh, dear.
You got some issues going on.
Oh, here. I'm having a real issue. This thing has got. Kimmy, what the? Let's
pull it out the other way.
Let's go like this.
There you go.
Okay, figure this out. I mean, Alabama grad having trouble pulling out wipes, and so I'm pretty fanatical about this. Look and see what I'm doing here, and doing that, and and this is how I roll. Phone. See the phone?
Phone.
Apple
Absolutely.
says you can wipe that down. So I'm pretty fanatical about it, and God willing, nothing will happen, and people will start getting better. Maybe this thing will peak soon, but I don't think it's going to happen today or tomorrow or the next day. I think we're looking at a month or so, or maybe longer, and that's too bad, because the world is kind of stopping in terms of activities that we know it. So as far as sports goes, though, going back to what I mentioned earlier, QB, if I had told you all those things were not going to happen, you would have thought that we were in World War III, and maybe we are with this disease.
Yep, very possible. We're going to take our first time out of the program. When we come back, we're going to talk NFL free agency, and don't forget at 8:30. I don't want to touch it after you touched it. At 8:30, we'll have Patric Young, former Gator basketball player, letting us know what he's up to these days. You're watching and listening to Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back.
Time out! Time out! Hey! Time out! Time out! Time out! There we go. Good.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills.
Let's give them something to cheer for now.
Our Gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security, small enough to serve you, large enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Gator's Dockside, wings, ribs, seafood, and beer. Peachland Dentistry, Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte and surrounding areas. Area Rug Masters, your #1 choice for rug cleaning. And Pound Hurt, preferred personal injury attorneys.
Our touchdown sponsors are Radware Promotional Materials, Doreen Wiebe Realtor, Caldwell Banker MM Parish, Gator BTW, Campus USA Credit Union, Celebration Point Town Center, Miapa Latin Cafe, Davis Gainesville Chevrolet, Okita America Martial Arts and After School, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, The Keys Grill and Piano Bar, UF Mover Guys, The Digital Mortgage Guy, Adams Ribs, Cloud9 Spa, Wrap Spot, Coldstone Creamery, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Center State Bank, and Style Cuts.
If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, you can visit our website, potupwithshane.com, and click on the advertise button or call Freddie Wiebe at 352-284-3733.
Again, thank you for all the great businesses that support the show. Please remember, if you like what we are doing here, thank our sponsors and support the businesses that support us.
Looking, still looking. He's going for the end zone. He's got a touchdown.
Welcome back to Pot Up with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. John Cornell, Shane Matthews at Center State Bank. We put business first. We are the largest community bank in the state of Florida and understand that small businesses need a community business partner that they can rely on. Center State has 5 convenient Alachua County locations to serve you better. To learn more, visit centerstatebank.com. Center State Bank, member FDIC.
What does that stand for, QB? Quick.
I don't even know.
Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation.
Okay,
I didn't ask. I knew you didn't know that, so
Yeah.
I just thought I'd say
Yeah.
it.
You make me look silly in front of millions of listeners.
Do I make you do that?
You know what? That doesn't bother me one bit.
That's good. I'm sure you could say something about some letters that I wouldn't know about either.
Very true. We could throw up some X's and O's and make you look really silly. We're going to talk a little NFL free agency right now. Todd Gurley, who signed an enormous, wasn't he the highest paid running back last year?
Before Zeke.
This was last year, right? Going into last year or 2 years ago?
His deal happened 2 years ago before his original rookie contract was up. And that's, what I never could understand why you give running backs that. And that's the problem right now for running backs is their durability. And why does general managers go ahead and give these running backs? Look, Le'Veon Bell he got franchise tagged. He didn't like the idea. We have a couple of other running backs that Melvin Gordon, he was a disaster, right? So he's lost a lot of money. And he was looking for something that, the Chargers would give him that the Steelers wouldn't give Le'Veon Bell. So a lot of bad advice given to these running backs. And running backs have to understand that their position is the most accessible. So because of that, they're not going to get the kind of money that quarterbacks are going to get, that some of these wide receivers may even get. And certainly not some of these linemen are going to get in terms of duration and extensions and so forth. And here the Rams are giving Andrew Whitworth another 3 years. This guy's been in the league 15 years. Mm-hmm. So he's going to get the money, and it has to come at the expense of somebody else. Ezekiel Elliott got the money from Jerry, I guess, because Jerry felt like Dak or the offense couldn't operate without Zeke. And when Zeke sat out, it showed that Dallas was hamstrung. So Jerry goes out and now pays a wide receiver the biggest contract ever, and they're waiting on what to do with the quarterback, so they franchise tag him. Whether or not he signs that tag is up for speculation. But, Derrick Henry had a tremendous year last year. Many thought of him as the NFL MVP for in some cases, but he had unbelievable numbers last year, and he's been now franchise tagged. And it's not because they don't like Derrick Henry, or it's not because somebody wants to pick on Derrick Henry. It's because Derrick Henry plays a position that does not have durability over the long term, so why would they get long-term deals? And so that's how the football teams out there are saving money to try to free up cap space for other players that they want to lock up for the long term. And so Derrick Henry gets franchise tagged. What does the franchise tag mean, QB? It basically means that you're going to get paid amongst the highest, I guess, top five players at your position. So it's not like Derrick's going to starve next year, and it's not like he couldn't buy a house in Yulee for all of his family members. He's going to be fine, but it's only a one-year deal in this case. So that is something that these players don't like. They want to have security in their minds through a long-term contract, and for running backs, it's very difficult. So we have quarterbacks right now, who's going to go where and who's done what, and we've talked this week about some of the quarterbacks that have moved on. Philip Rivers to the Colts, certainly Tom Brady now to the Buccaneers, Marcus Mariota to the Las Vegas Raiders. I don't know.
Are they changing? They're not changing their logo or anything, are they?
I don't think they're changing their logo, but obviously they're not Oakland anymore, and they do play in a spectacular new stadium. The Rams and Chargers will share a spectacular new stadium as well. So these are new things for these franchises, and that's why they've done what they've done. Why the Chargers left San Diego, and why the Raiders have left Oakland for the, I don't know, second or third time, whatever. And so I do think that when you look at a guy like Jameis Winston and Cam Newton, now these are two quarterbacks. We don't know where they're going. They don't probably know yet where they're going. Jameis Winston is a guy that gave you 30 touchdown passes, but 30 interceptions, and 7 of those ended up for pick sixes, which is laughable. I mean, 7 of 30 interceptions end up being a pick six. That's almost 30% of the balls you throw to the other team. That is, I think, an NFL record. So with all of that, Tampa Bay manages a 7-9 record in spite of it. And so where does Jameis go to see? What does Christian McCaffrey do about his potential deals? Is he a running back? Is he a slot receiver? Is he a hybrid of both? How are owners going to pay that position? A lot of guys are right now trying to figure out what's best and how they can do it. So what I'm thinking of, and here we have on Facebook Live, brought to you by Pound Hurt, your personal injury attorneys, we have Greg and Diane going after each other on coronavirus facts, Chinese coronavirus facts. I'll tell you one fact that's a fact, and that is this thing came from the Hubei province of China. All right, 29 interceptions. Yeah, so Tom Brady's thrown 29 interceptions since 2015. That's how many years ago is that? 5? 4? So where does James go? Would he be good in Carolina? They have new ownership.
There's talk that he may go to Washington.
The Washington Redskins now are looking at him. Well, they have Dwayne Haskins.
Why would he go to Carolina? They got Teddy Bridgewater.
Not Carolina. I didn't mean Carolina. I meant New England. That's what I meant, New England. So Carolina has to figure out what to do with Christian McCaffrey. And you're right. They do have Teddy Bridgewater.
Well, here's what I'd do with Christian McCaffrey. I'd give him a lot of money. I think between Christian McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara, they're the 2 best running backs in the league.
Right, and I don't think Kamara's up for anything anytime soon, contract-wise. He may want to get a deal before he is, though, and maybe the Saints will look at that. I don't know. How many years you think Drew Brees has got left, QB? He's in his 40s, too.
Maybe 2, 3. I
2 or 3.
You know, the thing about him, and it's the same way with Brady, is that they're so smart within the pocket. They can protect themselves with their protection schemes, knowing where their hots are, getting rid of the football. They don't get sacked very often.
Yeah. Well, it's a good point, but Drew Brees, the reason I bring him up isn't necessarily because he's going to stay for another 2 or 3 years with the Saints, but he's going to cost a lot of money. So that goes against your cap, of course, and that's something that I don't think the Saints have an issue with right now. I'm not exactly sure where anybody goes in who's going to go to Miami. That's another area. You got Fitzpatrick there, but he's not.
I don't think Drew will go play somewhere else. I think when it runs out, he's going to be a Saint because it's a little bit different than what Tom Brady. I mean, you know, I know the Patriots won the Super Bowl the previous year, but they overcame lack of talent. I'm telling you.
Well, they've been doing that, and Tom Brady's.
I know. Well, he finally saw what happened last year.
They made no moves to surround him with what he needed, and certainly you're right. They lost to the Dolphins and the Titans in the last 2 games they played last year after basically being in control of the 1st or 2nd seed in the AFC because their schedule was so weak. Granted, Buffalo was better, but that division is not good. And
I'm sleepy.
So, well, QB,
I don't need a 5-hour energy.
well, obviously you do
I'll
because
be
you about
fine.
fell asleep right now for
No,
the last 24 minutes.
I'll be fine once we get
Why
out
are
of
you
here and I
afraid of
get
this?
outside.
You think this has got corona?
It might. You touched it. I don't need a 5-hour energy though.
See now, look, you do. You just yawned.
Are you the spokesman
You
for
literally,
5-hour
I
energy?
could be. I wish they'd call me. It helps me, man. I don't yawn like you do. I don't go.
I just did it.
Oh God, JC. Oh. I mean, come on. QB. Oh, but don't worry. When you're on that tee box at 1 o'clock today, you'll be wide awake.
You're dang right I will.
You'll be wide awake. You know, this eatery that Coach is opening, QB, I'm bringing this up because eateries are basically being shutteries right now. It's tragic, really. I mean, our executive producer tells us that in the eatery business or the restaurant business, you basically sometimes try to create enough money one week to pay for the next. It's difficult. And good morning to you, Elizabeth, on the Facebook Live brought to you by Pound Hurt, your personal injury attorneys. Thank you for that. Good morning. There's a sun for you there, QB.
Good morning, sunshine.
Yeah. The head ball coach, of course, we know is basically allowing his likenesses and all his stuff to be a part of this 16,700 square foot space, which includes 3 bars and a 5,500 square foot rooftop lounge called Visors. And it's going to be outdoorsy. The entertainment value is going to be tremendous. I'm reading this because we're in a time right now where restaurants are in bad shape, and certainly this is not the case because we have, months and months and months before this will open, and hopefully we'll have some resolution to this tragedy we're going through. And certainly our situation here isn't anywhere near what they're going through in Italy and some of these other countries, certainly what happened in China with the shutdown of an 11 million, a city with 11 million people in it. It's stunning. South Korea basically shutting down, but they're back now. They're coming back, and that's what I think will happen here. So by the time Spurrier's Gridiron Grill at Celebration Point will be ready to go, hopefully we'll be at the midpoint of the football season. And you kind of scared me yesterday when you talked about football season and what is going to be the collateral damage for football season, given the fact that these players have to be ready to go months before football season. And that's what scares me, QB, is that if you're going to start it in September, in the first week of September, you basically got to get going in the first week of August in terms of training camp.
But you have to be training. You have to be training well before August.
So I'd like to think a lot of these guys right now are doing what they're supposed to do.
They are, but they've been told. I'm going from the collegiate athlete because I have one.
Yeah.
They've been told to not go to any facility because they're all at their homes.
Well, I
around
guess
the
what I
country.
meant was,
But what I'm saying is everything they're doing is all. If you have some dumbbells at home, you can use those. But
what
it's
about
all
gyms?
bodyweight stuff.
Gymnasium, they're still open. These gyms around town are still open.
You didn't hear? Listen, to what I said.
sorry.
They were told not to go to a gym.
Oh, I thought you. Well, I heard you say facility. I didn't.
Facility,
know
gym, however you
well,
want to
there
phrase
is a
it.
difference. There's a football facility, and then there's a gym.
But there's no football facility. Every kid is in their hometown now.
Yeah.
Where they grew up.
Right.
So they were told
to work out at home.
They have a
Just say
body
work out
weight
at home.
workout home.
Just
at
say
home.
work out at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get our play of the day pulled up.
Oh, we have another. Okay.
Play of the day is brought to you by your area rug masters. Receive a BOGO rug cleaning when you mention the code Shane or JC. Call them at 352-448-5999. And our play of the day goes to, boom, our doctors and nurses.
Yes, and who are they?
I don't know who they are, but Taylor found that picture. And
That's right. Well, they are tremendous. It takes a special person to be one. My son wants to be a doctor. He's going to Florida right now, go to medical school somewhere and maybe here. But doctors and nurses, we got to have them. We need them. They're special people, just like all of the police officers and the firemen and everything. Such a, this is tragic what we're seeing in the world. Elizabeth says, "Good, no gyms right now." Yes, go down, Taylor, on Facebook Live, brought to you by Pound Hurt, your personal injury attorneys. Hello, JC. After Tom Brady leads the Bucs to the Super Bowl, can we say that he is the greatest ever? Well, you can say that, I think, now. Yeah. And some people would argue, well, maybe, what he's done. And there's no question with his resume, he is, Gene. But, he's a different type of quarterback. Aaron Rodgers can do things that Tom Brady can't do. Peyton Manning did some things that maybe Tom Brady can't do. Tom Brady's done things that maybe neither of them can do. So Drew Brees has done things that Tom Brady hasn't done. So you have all of this. Really what I prefer to do, instead of saying the greatest ever, I prefer to say, give me your Mount Rushmore. And so that creates a space where they're all together, compared in their own ways and resembling greatness in their own image, QB.
All right. Well, we're going to take our second time out of the program. We're going to be joined by Patric Young, former Gator basketball player. He's going to let us know what he's up to these days. And
we have some big news regarding feeding children.
Absolutely. We'll be right back. You're watching and listening to Pot Up with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios.
Time out! Time out! Hey! Time out! Time out! Time out! There we go. Good.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills.
Let's give them something to cheer for now.
Our Gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security, small enough to serve you, large enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Gator's Dockside, wings, ribs, seafood, and beer. Peachland Dentistry, Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte and surrounding areas. Area Rug Masters, your #1 choice for rug cleaning, and Pound Hurt, preferred personal injury attorneys.
Our touchdown sponsors are Radware Promotional Materials, Doreen Wiebe Realtor, Caldwell Banker MM Parish, Gator BTW, Campus USA Credit Union, Celebration Point Town Center, Miapa Latin Cafe, Davis Gainesville Chevrolet, Okita America Martial Arts and After School, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, The Keys Grill and Piano Bar, UF Mover Guys, The Digital Mortgage Guy, Adams Ribs, Cloud9 Spa, Wrap Spot, Coldstone Creamery, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Center State Bank, and Style Cuts.
If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, you can visit our website, potupwithshane.com, and click on the advertise button or call Freddie Wiebe at 352-284-3733.
Again, thank you for all the great businesses that support the show. Please remember, if you like what we are doing here, thank our sponsors and support the businesses that support us.
Looking, still looking. He's going for the end zone. He's got a touchdown.
Welcome back to Pot Up with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. John Cornell, Shane Matthews. We're going to go to the Titan MRI hotline now, and we're joined by Gator great, former basketball player at the University of Florida, Patric Young. Patric, welcome to the program. How are you, bud?
Doing fantastic. Thanks for having me. Good morning.
Absolutely. Well, Patric, we'll get into your basketball career a little bit later, but let everybody know what you're doing right now here in Gainesville.
Right now, I've been working with Food for Kids. Mm-hmm. It's a not-for-profit, 100% volunteer-run organization here in Gainesville that during the school year, they serve about 29 schools in Alachua and Levy County, and the program is to help children that are not doing so well at home, in the sense of maybe not having enough food to eat. It's through a process of, like, the staff kind of chooses the kids that they see might not be doing the best, and they can tell there's some issues going on at home. And the organization just does a fantastic job just striving to serve these kids, because hungry kids can't learn, can't think, can't focus in school. And it's amazing. They feed about 900 children every weekend throughout Gainesville, throughout Alachua and Levy County. And it's pretty awesome being able to work with them, just thinking in this time right now with school being closed completely, that there's actually going to be more children since parents can't work. So been helping them just get donations, raise money. All the money that they receive goes right into purchasing food, which has a quick turnaround of getting right into the homes of those families and kids that are in need right now. So it's been pretty cool just being able to be a part to help serve in this time where so much craziness going on.
Yeah.
The women it's mostly women. We have Jennifer, Miss Barbara, Roseanne, and Dawn. It's been fantastic getting to know them over these past few days. They're awesome. They really are dedicated, working this organization. And it's just been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure.
Patric, John Cornell here. How did you get involved with charity work since your career ended at Florida? What brought you to that endeavor? And tell us what happened with you after you graduated to where you are today.
Well, actually, while I was here in Florida, I did a lot of volunteering. I probably had over 120 hours of volunteer hours in my 4 years. Mm-hmm. Of serving in the community, hospital visits, et cetera. Just a passion that I have of being able to use my platform to show that I'm not to prove anything, but I just feel like it's a responsibility to use my influence to impact this world for the good, for greater good. And after I finished up with here at Florida, I went undrafted and I signed a non-guaranteed contract with New Orleans Pelicans. Mm-hmm. I was with them for a few months. I got cut in December of 2014. Then I ended up going overseas to Istanbul, Turkey for the 14-15 season. Played well enough to get the Summer League opportunity with the Clippers, but there was a guaranteed opportunity for me to go back to Greece. For a pretty big team. Nick Kalathis is actually playing for another team out there in Greece right now. He's been there majority of his career. He's a fantastic European player, and it's crazy because he has a Greek passport, and there's no Greek blood in his body at all. Like his father or his grandfather was adopted into a Greek family. And therefore, he's been able to find some loophole, I guess, because he's really good at basketball. But I was there in Greece for 2 years, mm-hmm. from 2015 to 17. I hurt my knee my first year in Greece, tore my ACL meniscus. First injury I ever had.
Yeah.
Got hit in the back of the knee.
Well, Patric, injuries are difficult. Certainly basketball players have to realize that potential reality. But as being a player, and we're watching a lot of your highlights here from those games, and of course overseas, and of course as a Florida Gator, what do you think it's like? I mean, tell us a little bit about how you feel with the NCAA tournament being canceled right now, and what these poor seniors and some of these players are I guess enduring right now with that disappointment. Yeah. That's got to be just a shock to many of those who were going to go forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with situations like this, you have to. It's so unprecedented. You just have to have empathy, and the special senior year that I had. Mm-hmm. Just imagine us going into the SEC tournament and NCAA tournament after winning 30 games in a row, having a fantastic year and having so much momentum, and then all of a sudden this pandemic happens, and then Coach Donovan said, "Hey guys, the season's over." Couldn't put it in words. It's really crazy. It's going to be an asterisk of a year in sports. Like it's a lot of people that are used to having things connect in patterns and connection. It's going to be weird looking back at this year when it comes to sports. It's because there's going to be a lot of no champions going into this next season, and a lot of issues with scholarship and eligibility. Like, are they going to add another year for these spring sports like baseball and lacrosse, and they haven't even gotten a chance to play. It's I can't even imagine.
Yeah. We're speaking with Patric Young, former Gator basketball player, here on the Titan MR hotline. You can follow Patric on Twitter at PatricYoung4, the number 4. His senior year, he was the big man of the year, SEC Defensive Player of the Year. Patric, you were a McDonald's All-American coming out of Jacksonville, Providence School over there. What made you choose to come to the University of Florida? Because, we've talked about it many times on this show. Florida's not, quote, a blue blood in basketball. But they'd won 2 national titles when you were growing up. Is it because they were close to home, Billy Donovan? What brought you to Gainesville?
My grandparents were actually season ticket holders for a long time. They big huge, so they instilled that Gator blood into me growing up. And it's funny because baseball was actually my first sport, and that was the sport that majority of my family thought I was going to pursue. And it wasn't until I was 17 that I stopped playing baseball.
What happened? Did you grow? Did you grow up and become a big?
No.
I mean, a 6'8" guy playing baseball.
I still loved it. I still loved it. It just the circumstances at the time, because I was playing so well in basketball, and the coaches that I was playing for in baseball, the relationship wasn't the best. So it kind of seemed as though the signs were pointed for me
basketball,
just to hang up my cleats and just full time go with basketball. I still have that what if I would have played my senior year in baseball, I would have gotten drafted for sure.
Were you a pitcher or a first baseman?
I was a pitcher.
Oh, a pitcher. Well, okay. In that case, you're 6'10", you're sitting on the bump, you're about 7-something, and if you can bring it consistently in the mid-90s, you would have been drafted, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I was in Atlanta 2 summers ago and got clocked at 94.
Ooh.
My
and that's coming from way up here. That's coming from way up here, man. I mean, that 94.
My shoulder was hurting for about 3 weeks. But
you said enough of that.
My claim to fame.
Patrick, we got a text here on the Titan MR text line. Yeah. It's from Susan. She wants to know, how was it to play for Billy Donovan?
It was great. I mean, we won.
Exactly. Well, you were part of the celebration when they put his name on the court, right?
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, how was that? Just being a former player, seeing all his former players come back. What was that night all about?
It's pretty cool. Just being part of that and seeing a lot of old faces and reminiscing. You wish we could all get together and get together more, and not for any reason, but just celebrate the brotherhood and the family that we've all formed from even the older guys that are in the NBA now, and the younger guys that are on the team now. Everyone just has so much respect for Coach Donovan and just the man that he was and is. And it's just weird. It's weird coming back here and he's not the head man in charge anymore. But the relationship, the love for him, it will never change.
We got another text here from Lewis. He wants to know, Patrick, what was your favorite moment as a Gator basketball player?
Favorite moments. Beating Kentucky at home senior night, that was probably one of the favorites, or even winning the SEC tournament after we fell short in that 3 years in a row. One of those two.
Okay. Well, Patrick, before we let you go, I want you once again let everybody know how they can get involved with Food for Kids. Now, when you say people can donate financially, now are kids coming to pick the food up, or is the food being delivered?
Okay. So the Food for Kids warehouse is on 350 Northwest 39th Avenue. And in this warehouse is where we have just a lot of food that's donated, stored, purchased, and we organize it. We put it in bags that last for a few days, and we deliver them to these schools all throughout Alachua and Levy County. And then now, since the school systems is not out and we're having more misplaced kids, some of the guidance counselors, staff, coaches, teachers are picking up just to keep things safe, picking up some of the food, the bags that they need for these kids and delivering them directly to the families' homes. It's really the donations we to protect kids, to keep for safety reasons. The people that work for the Food for Kids organizations are the ones that go and deliver and drop off at the schools. But you're able to volunteer to come help with the packing and the moving, deliveries to the schools. This is fine. There's donation locations like Gainesville Health and Fitness is a place you can drop off. I own an escape room business here. We take donations as well, and we pick them up. We take them to the warehouse. So you can find the website, or you can call Jennifer Moore that's running the organization. She's fantastic. She runs the organization so smoothly. So there's plenty of options.
Patric, you just mentioned, I forgot you run the escape room here in town. I've never done one of those. Have you ever done one of those, JC?
No.
I'd freak out that I'd get locked in there and then they'd shut the business down and you'd be, so how is that doing here in Gainesville?
Well, the thing is, you technically can't lock anybody inside of the room. It's a fire hazard, so the door is always
okay. I feel better now.
It's always open if you need to go to the bathroom or catch a quick some air, real quick breath. But right now we're still open. We're just doing the weekends and by appointment only. Fortunately, we have a good relationship with the owner of the building, so we're not having to pay rent. So we'll be fine. And once this all kind of pans over, but we've been open for almost 2 years now, which has been pretty cool.
That is cool. I've never done one of those. I think I want to try it one time.
Awesome.
Please come.
Well, Patric, nice visiting with you this morning. Thank you for spending some time with us. We love your cause and, of course, your charity. And we've got some other news we can bring here on the program involving food for children. So, again, thank you for what you do. Go Gators, and we'll talk to you soon, my man.
Go Gators.
You bet.
Absolutely. You guys have a good rest of your day.
Patrick.
All right,
Thanks
that's Patric Young on the Titan MRI hotline. You can follow him at Patric Young 4 on Twitter, and he's doing wonderful things with Food for Kids. And we put our link up on the Facebook Live, and Taylor showed all the information.
So,
and I want to give a shout out to a young lady that lives in my neighborhood, Liz Smock, who's very involved with Food for Kids, and is like she's the one that said you need to call Patric Young. And I was like, yes, ma'am, we'll get it done.
Awesome. And there is collaboration now with local nonprofit organizations and restaurants. The Alachua County Public Schools is seeking donations for both food and funds to help keep children fed during spring break and beyond with this Chinese coronavirus situation. This week, the district's Food and Nutrition Services Department has been able to prepare and distribute meals to children aged 0 to 18 at 34 sites throughout the county. The district was informed, however, by the federal government on Monday that it would not be able to provide food for the children during its spring break, which runs from March 23rd to 27th, because school was already scheduled to be out during that time. I don't understand that. Doesn't matter. Campus USA, however, credit union, a wonderful sponsor of our program, has stepped forward, if you can believe this, and has generously volunteered to cover the cost of the majority of the student meals for the week of spring break. It is cooked. It's ready to go. Gators Dockside, Miapa Latin Cafe, and another one of our wonderful sponsors, Gator BTW, have also stepped forward to donate the remainder of the meals, as well as providing delivery for the free grab-and-go lunches each day of spring break for the local children of Alachua County. The restaurant's launches will be distributed at 8 sites throughout the county, including Eastside, Gainesville, Buchholz, Hawthorne, Newberry, and Hawthorne High Schools, Howard Bishop Middle School, and the Swag Community Center. They will be available from 11 to 1 o'clock Monday through Friday. Children will need to be presented there to receive those meals. But how about Campus USA spending upwards of $50,000 to support this? That is unbelievable support, and I love that. Way to go, Campus USA. Citizens are asked to donate as well. We have 4 drop-off locations if you'd like to donate. Junior League, which is on North Main Street, 430 North Main Street. We also have Catholic Charities, which I have donated to, and I am a big believer in. 1701 Northeast 9th Street, 1701 Northeast 9th Street. And the wonderful thing about this podcast is you can replay this, and if you miss what I'm saying.
Yeah, very true.
Swag Community Center, of course, 807 Southwest 64th Terrace, and the United Way of North Central Florida, which is at 6031 Northwest 1st Place. The donations can also be dropped off at the Food for Kids locations throughout the county, which can be found on the organization's website at food4kids FL.org. Food4kidsfl.org. It is tremendous that they have gone through, and the spring break it's just so difficult for these parents, and with their jobs and so forth, and kids not going anywhere, who are hungry, need to be here and have to be here, have the opportunity to benefit from this generosity from folks like Gator Dockside, Miape Latin Cafe, which I go all the time to, and Gator BTW, the Campus USA Credit Union. Big ups for them and helping pay for this. It is March 23rd through 27th, which is spring break, so that's coming up. And so because school was already scheduled to be out during that time, there was a huge need and a financial shortfall, and these folks have stepped up. So we're very pleased to be able to pass that along, and because this show is recorded and be able to be viewed over and over again, everything that I just went through, you can scroll back and rewind and watch over again in case you missed some of the things I was saying. But the restaurant lunches, again, will be distributed at 8 sites throughout the county. And again, that includes Eastside High School, Gainesville High School, Buchholz High School, Hawthorne, and Newberry, as well as Howard Bishop Middle School and the SWAG Community Service. The availability will be from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock, Monday through Friday. Children have to be present to get their food.
That's right. And Celebration Point, where the Gators go to celebrate, with premium brands like Bass Pro Shop, Palmetto Moon, Skechers, Starbucks, The Keys Grill and Piano Bar, Select Shades, Regal Cinemas, and coming soon, HBC's new restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. We'll see you at Celebration Point, where the Gators come to celebrate. And again, help Patric Young out and my neighbor, Liz Smock, go to foodforkidsfl.org.
Well, I just love the collaboration too, and I just love the folks who have the means and the resources here locally doing what many people are doing nationally, and that's what it takes, right? We're all in this together. Everybody is involved.
Like Coach O said,
yeah.
I still loved his presser.
The game plan, follow the plan.
Follow the game plan.
We're
Follow
tough.
the game plan. We're
Tigers
tough.
are tough.
We're Tigers. We're Tigers. This is your coach, Ed Wardron. LSU national champion, LSU Tigers. We're tough. We're tough Tigers. Tigers are tough. You stay with the game plan.
Did I miss something else?
That's pretty good, JC.
We're going to do the best we can. We're going to work together. This is all about us. Louisiana is strong. We're strong in Louisiana.
So Taylor just let us know that he's been to Patric Young's escape room.
Oh,
How was it, Taylor?
talk.
Yeah,
about
so I went.
that.
I got invited by one of my friends to go to the escape room, and I had never done anything like that before. And we did the hardest one.
Oh, there's
And-
different ones you can choose.
Yeah, there's about 4. One of them's like more of an arena, and like nobody ever loses, but there's 2 teams. The one I did, there was 6 people. We were all on one team, and the pass rate for that is 4%. And needless to say, we were not smart enough to figure it out. They were really bummed out, the people I went with, because they thought they were going to be able to do it. I was like, this is fascinating and fun. I don't even care. I feel like I won just because how much fun I had. But
Is it called the escape room?
Yeah. It's
Okay.
it's
Get in
re-
there, QB.
It's
Check it
I
out.
recommend it. It's
Check it out.
It's a puzzle. You're just dropped
puzzle.
into this puzzle, and you start seeking out clues. I recommend going in with someone who's done an escape room before, if you've never done it.
Do you think JC and I could do one?
Yeah.
Maybe we should do a show from the escape room.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
I tell you, a lot of folks want to escape right now. It's been a tough week. It's been a tough month, and hopefully it won't get worse before it gets better. But in the event it does, we'll get through this. And, of course, here on Pot Up with Matthews in the morning and JC here, I'm going to be doing all I can to help out here on this program and, of course, locally. Because basically we are in a stalled state of affairs right now. So this was great information that we had today on the show. It was great to have Patric Young, but it was also great to hear of this local community involvement that is in collaboration with local nonprofit organizations and restaurants. And so Alachua County Public Schools need your help right now. So let's get with that and let's help out with canned goods and whatever you can donate. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it can go to help those who are less fortunate and in need here in our community. So with the weekend coming up, QB, you have any big plans, or are you just going to kind of just lay low like
Lay
the rest
low
of
and
us?
probably play golf because
That's
I
it.
feel like golf's a very safe thing to do.
Yeah, I agree with that, and certainly I will be joining you there, and playing golf will be fun, and then, of course, we'll come back on Monday and do it all over again.
Yeah. Hopefully, there's not much to watch. Maybe we could video our
Like
golf
ESPN
games. And,
Classic. Oh, I'm sure folks would love to see that. Yeah, they would love to see you putt. Sure.
so anyway, today's show is a wrap brought to you by WrapSpot. A vehicle wrap from WrapSpot will give your business years of brand recognition and increased sales. Call WrapSpot today. Have a good weekend. Stay safe, folks.